Hey guys, Thomas Leroy here. Sloopy hangs on, and I guess always will. Especially since things do seem to be incrementally improving enough that we could gauge it and see this and feel that and understand these other things. Oh, okay, so these are, yeah, these are improvements that are piece by piece taking effect. And I'm very glad of it, very grateful, very thankful that this is finally happening. I'd like to report that the fasting is going good and better again. I do need to, and I'm going to start taking in a little bit more water. I don't think I've been taking in enough water. So I'm going to do that. And the candies, got those down to a couple pieces in a day. So maybe I'll just be able to drop that. And now, I one of the things I did to get going in this fast was to do a cheat, sort of, okay? Which was you get the urge to eat, and instead of eating, you go in there and you start fixing something, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to eat this, and then, but instead of going ahead and just giving into that, go ahead and take a bite, chew it up, spit it out. And it's like the superior version of the Karen Carpenter story or something. Instead of eating it and throwing it up, you just eat it, but then don't swallow it. Now, the only problem with that is if you're eating any kind of food that's really soft, then there is a teeny little fraction of a percentage that you're probably going to end up swallowing on that. And so we're getting rid of that crutch. It was working, and it was really fine, actually. There was and I was discovering a couple of things, like you could use this, but you can't use that because it's going to too easily want to just swallow that. And so, but yeah, it's been working. It's worked out pretty good, and it's allowed us this I don't know, sort of a space to process these thoughts and these feelings about again letting go of yet still another aspect of, quote, living, unquote. But yeah, I'm starting to think maybe food was only an old habit. It might be. Taking a walk down memory lane. I saw this video yesterday, and they were talking about how basically that's what it was I think it might have been the title or something, but that was the premise of God is going to have you take a walk down memory lane. And it sounded like it was almost kind of important, really. But after everything, I'm looking at it like, is this weird God, he thinks he's a psychologist or something like that? The one who believes that if you have no pain inside, no sadness or sorrow regarding anything, that somehow you become perfected, rather than you went too damn far. You probably only can cry on, cue now, right? Because you don't actually feel anything for anyone. But that's what it sort of seems like to me. I don't know exactly how that is, but like yeah, you got perfect because you grew scales or anyway, and they were like, it may be painful or something like that, but don't worry because God will be with you. And I'm thinking, well, if it's one particular person that they're bringing up, that's just like, well, no, I don't want to be alone with that anywhere or anything. What do you want from me with this thing? It's like, what kind of closure do these people need? Why is it always about them? Why is everything about them? Even if it's supposed to be about me. My birthday's about them. My birthday money's for them. My prize, my position is about them. What happens? It's too much, you know. Okay, so maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something else. Where the last thing where there's pain regarding, sadness, and see the way I look at it is, if you are a living creature and you have emotions, not just the bastardized things, that you're going to feel naturally some type of sadness over what isn't concerning those most special to you. You will feel some type of sadness over what wasn't. In other words, what you would have liked to have had been the case, the reality regarding them and your relationship with them. Otherwise, you probably don't have anyone special in your heart ever, and never would, and or I just don't see how you if you're a living creature who actually feels and loves, why there would not be any type of sadness regarding what wasn't, or what should have been, or what isn't, regarding those most loved. Now the thing of it is, sure, you can mitigate that through rationalizations and greater. Let's see. Look, I don't see any goal there to be met in unnecessary pain or the reliving of it. All right. The way I look at it is this: time will erase my grief from me, and with the correct and logical perspective and correct attitude, formulated from proper knowledge, in other words, greater knowledge, greater understanding, that goes away. It again becomes inconsequential. It's like, don't you have issues about how your mommy didn't treat you like this, or your daddy wasn't like that, and blah 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 blah? Why they weren't Ward and June Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver? Well, you could indulge such things as that. You could have issues and stuff, or you could look at it and go, well, but I found out mommy and daddy were gators. They were in disguise. I didn't, like gypsies, they stole me in the night and stole me from my true parents, which were humans. For whatever reason, I was raised with wolves or whatever. But once you find out the reality of what they were, you're Marilyn Munster among the dead. You're the only living creature in the house. They're all the dead. The Munster family's the dead. Once you figure that out, you will probably, then it's all explained to you why all of your life was like what it was concerning them, and so you don't have any issues regarding it. There's nothing to work out. You see what I'm saying? It's like you fall in love with a woman and you think that she's this, that, and another, because that's the kind of stuff that's in you, and that's the little uniform that they put on it. But then slowly you find out it's not that, and then it's not that either, and oh my gosh, it's this, and well, maybe I could work with it. Oh no, it's even more worse. But after you find out all about it, then you understand. Well, of course, no, there's nothing to grieve there. It couldn't work. Why? Because it couldn't work. There was no path to success there, or regarding those types of successes. You see? Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure what, revisit. And again, let's say it was someone from my past that I was like, oh, wow, this is really fantastic. I'm really so happy to see them. My sunshine, yay. I don't know who it is for sure, do I? Am I looking at a magical creation, given to, again, create more pain and suffering over what can't be or isn't or won't be? Because it seems like an awful lot of it is that, it's like, And let's say it is something from the past that now they're going to try and tell a story that no, it wasn't that at all. You didn't experience any of that. That was their demons. In other words, they're not to blame. Blah, blah, blah. This, that, and another, so on and so forth. So what? Why is that being brought to me now? Why? Why would that be? Why? When it's dead. When the whole deal is dead. When there's nothing left to invest. When there's nothing left to believe in. When there's no way to believe in it. Are all my eyes suddenly going to open up and I be able to see the content and character of your character, to be able to see the contents of your soul, to identify how you should or should not flock together with this bird of a feather? And by the way, birds of a feather flock together because it's comfortable. It's pleasant. They can relax around one another, knowing that the ones around them are not all ate up with jealousy and envy, plotting to take from them their wings or something. They're of the same class. They're comfortable together. They feel at home. That's why they do it. That's why people of a specific race tend, in general, to gravitate to people of their own race. It's just what it is. Groups are groups, and their tribes are tribes. It's what it is. So like last night, I didn't know I was still supposed to be looking to find anything or anyone. And while something did jump out there to my right for a moment, I got a glint of, I think, a specific tone of hair. And if I'd ever looked that person in the face, I might have had a moment with them. But I did look over my shoulder as they were exiting, and I instantly could only think of one name because of the build and certain people, if it was them, or even if it's just a clever facsimile of them, there's something about, certain people. You're around them so much, you can pretty much smell them out of a crowd. You know what I'm saying? But showing up in familiar form like that, it's like, well, it's a moment out of history. You can't miss it. You could almost call across the lot saying, hey, you who is of my blood or whatever, come here. What are you doing? What and of course, what's your excuse for being in this nightmare? Didn't I teach you better than this? I don't know what these plans are. They talk about all this stuff. They talk about something from the past. They talk about a love. They talk about this. They talk about that. And I'm like, goofy stuff. And how, somehow these people, dragons and such, I guess they were really good at describing what they are, or disguising what they are to others. And I can only imagine maybe only one scenario in which they've, entrapped or engulfed me in some way, so that they could possibly get away with telling stories about what, who, or how I am, whenever that's not even plausible, given how many know me and how many know exactly what I am and who I am of and from and destined to be with and for, and so yeah, that just seems so much like just a bunch of crap. But anyway, the question that comes to my mind whenever you talk about any of this is, I wonder truly how to trust, or how trust could ever be, for that matter, regarding anyone at this point. And the only way I can imagine that is that I shift severely in my understanding, my knowledge, and my perceptual abilities, which I believe that's probably going to happen at some point regardless. Whether it is in this valley or at some peak, it will still happen regardless, what I'm being told is we're on a course at this point. We're on a track. We're not coming off that track. We're climbing. That's our mission at this point. And, of course, to acquire the abilities and understanding that is incumbent to one who's reaching those higher grounds. We won't be ignorant or naive again as we were. So today is the 29th day of the 8th month, correct? I think so. August is the 8th month. So looking at that, I was seeing yesterday as a significant day. I was told it was a significant day, and I was told there was an ending of some sort. I think the park closed like that, which is just beyond, imagination for me, indicated that something did end. And I then had a realization of it again about how so much of this is not at all real and just only production, only show. And so at that point, I guess the budget had got cut for that part of the show, and opportunities and such went away since things weren't as they needed them to be. And or it was also an attempt to shut down a possible new beginning. But regardless, those endings ended, I'm sure, or did end. And I think there was a beginning, a new beginning. And today, if you are into numbers and stuff, a lot of good numbers in that 829. There's that 29. There's that 29. That 29. So you got you an 11 there, and there's that 8. That luminescence sitting on its side. But anyway, it does come out to be indicate beginnings, because it all adds down to one. It's a new beginning. So I thought of that. I looked at that, and I don't live by any such things. I don't do astrology or numerology. Numerology is just a gadgety habit thing that sometimes you play with, if you're in the mood. But given the fact that we were looking at signs and endings and people talking, messages, supposed prophetic stuff, which is such a show. Oh, dear God. And you people are so guilty of trivializing God and making God look like a narcissist and a player and this and that and disloyal. And oh my gosh, you really have denigrated God's image. So many of you. So very many of you. But we're in a good mood. Things are improving. I do believe that this is going to happen. But what I've been told is the truth of it. We will continue to advance. Our understanding and our knowledge base is increasing. Our intuitive abilities are going to be off the charts soon, and they are policed. Get the meaning on that. And if you believe that you are very talented intuitively, understand what that is, and understand why you want that to be policed by the correct influences. And if you're out there still referring to entities as energies, all you're doing is again and again showing that you're just a dupe. You've been played. You think you're this, that, or another, and you're feeling things, but it's living through you, dummy.